Welcome everyone to our next spotlight video of the National Association of the Remodeling Industry's members. Today we're interviewing Addie and David of Merrick Design and Build, Inc. Welcome and thank you for joining us.
Hi, Art.
Hi, Art.
So, by the way, I'll just share that we've spent about 10 or 15 minutes getting to know each other before this video, and it has been the most enjoyable 10 or 15 minutes of my work week, so I appreciate that. If the two of you wouldn't mind, just tell me a little bit of the history. How did the company come about? Why did it come about?
I got laid off and I decided to go into remodeling. Much as many remodelers start out, they have no specific plan to become a remodeler, they just become one. It's a very easy business to get into, and doing it right is a challenge. I knew very early on that I like to design things and I like to build things, and they were not exclusive of each other. My grandfather was a carpenter, and I surprised him one day and took some bifold doors down, and he caught them just before they hit the floor. My parents always said, wow, he's really good at building. He should be an architect. And that stuck with me a little bit. And I do love designing. I love solving problems and things like that. But I really like building what I have designed. And when I went to school, the Boston Society of Architects didn't agree with that. They said architects are architects and contractors are contractors, and the two shall never join up. And I knew that wasn't correct. That wasn't the right way to deliver, especially residential remodeling services, that having one person in charge is really an excellent way to hold yourself accountable to the customer and make sure that you've delivered what you promised.
So,
Okay. Go ahead.
for me, I think it was a little different. I always enjoyed being around you and being in this shop growing up, but I went to school determined to be a meteorologist and study hurricanes, and my senior year really was miserable and hating it. Did about an hour with my guidance counselor, and he looked at me and said, you should be doing something in design. And I looked at him and said, so I should go home and work for my dad? Yep, probably. And that was the best decision I think I have ever made. I came back, you put me through the ringer for a while, and 10 years later, it's been great.
Yeah, I sent her to architectural school.
Okay.
Yeah. I have my associate's degree in architecture and construction management.
You figured you had to put up with that punishment. She should too, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and please forgive me if I'm ignorant in this, but you talk about design build. What does that really mean?
That's an excellent question, Art. Design build, it starts with working with customers and truly understanding what it is they want. And how do you bring those dreams alive, not just on paper in a design, but the physical design.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's all about knowing as you're putting the idea on paper that you can build it, and that doing it with the wall over here will be more affordable and budget friendly than if you put it 3 feet over there. And the toilet's going to work better in this spot because, well, there's already one downstairs right below it, where an architect really isn't thinking about how the builder's going to put it together. So they aren't as concerned necessarily. So design build lets us focus on how we can build it effectively for someone's budget and the function of the house, and make sure that it's still pleasing because, well, we both really enjoy design as well.
yeah. When I left school, I went to work for commercial contractors, and I got to understand the true architect-contractor relationship. And my job in working for the contractor, I felt, was to argue with the architect over change orders. And that was the number one part of my job description, was to stir up trouble. And I was pretty good at it, but it was always
still stir up trouble.
Yeah. But taking advantages of, well, someone makes a mistake and then there's the contractor with his hand out for a change order. The architect didn't draw that way. when you are working for a person, when you're working for a corporation, maybe you can get away with that stuff. But when you're working for a customer in their home and in their kitchen, that just is so unfair. That the project needs to be designed correctly and executed without any arguments or finger pointing. We're here for one common goal, and that's to give the customer what they want, help them understand what it is they want, and then execute that.
Exactly, yeah. And this way we're able to be united front. The builder and the architect, they're one person, one company, well, two people, but we're all here in the same company, and the client, the homeowner, is who we are both working for together.
Excellent. So you say two people, so that's a great question. Is it just the two of you, or are there other people scurrying around doing work also?
When I first became a contractor, I brought with me a couple of carpenters that I had worked with in the commercial world. And the first eye-opening moment for me was when they came to me and told me to stay in the office, and that my strong suit was in the design part of this, was in the organization, pulling the strings together. But I was not so good at slinging the drywall mud. I know how to do it, and here's my workshop. I build things all the time. The professionals that work for me told me that I'm not as good at it as I think I am. So I have always been the business side of this, the designer, the organizer, and we rely very strongly on a group of dedicated people. Rodrigo has been with us 15 years.
He just
now.
had his 15th anniversary. Julio's been with us for 12, and these are our best carpenters. Wayne, our home repair manager, is coming up on his 10th anniversary this fall with us. I mean, the two original carpenters are my uncles. I mean, they're not around anymore, but they still pop in and we talk to them, and it's just great to have such a tight family feel when we're not technically family outside of my father and I.
There are 10 people in the firm right now. Everybody has a very well-defined role, and we've got a great team of people to help make dreams come true.
That's great. It sounds like there's a lot of knowledge and experience, though, when you take everything pulled together, from the carpentry, the design, the management. How does that actually play out when a project comes about? Do you have any good examples of how that actually ended up being a benefit to your clients?
Well, since our carpenters have been with us for so long, they genuinely care about this company and our clients. Just 2 weeks ago, we had a customer that Julio's working actively on their project all the time, and the kitchen is not part of our job. It's unrelated, but the faucet stopped working over the weekend, and they were getting ready to not have any water in their kitchen. Well, he spent his Saturday going to Ferguson, buying them a faucet and installing it for them, just because he cared. He did not have to do that. So having such a tight team, they're willing to go the extra mile without us really even having to ask. They just do it. It's amazing.
And we learn lessons along the way, like not to recommend electronic faucets to people because they tend to fail.
Yeah, well, we have enough electronics in our lives.
Yeah, we do. We don't need to put electronics where we don't need them.
But if you do and they don't work out, our team's here to help.
All right. When we were talking before we actually started recording, you shared with me the story about the client who wanted a place to entertain his clients once a year. I thought that was just a great illustration of how the design build process starts. Would you mind sharing that again for our audience?
Sure. Most of our clients come to us with an idea. They know what they want, but they're not quite sure how it's going to come together, what it's going to look like, what are the details. Sam and Marie came to us. Sam is a lawyer, and he wanted a place where he could bring the firm for a yearly party out on their back patio, and they did not have a screen porch, but wanted a screen porch.
And their existing deck just did not fit the bill. It was tiered with massive steps. I mean, if you wanted to take you know, a huge family photo, line them up on these stairs. You want to have a party on them and everyone's going to break their ankles or their necks. So
Yeah, there really was no place
Yeah.
to congregate. So a screen porch, most of the time, you've got this screening in your way that really is only needed a couple of months a year. So there's a new product with a retractable screen. We did a very heavily detailed porch without the screens, and then we incorporated the screen system into the millwork. So when he's having his party and the bugs appear, you push a button and the screens came down, and they didn't interfere with the design. And most of the year, this is a very nice open porch into the backyard. We put in LED cove lights to create a sense of light without really seeing the source of the light. It just appears.
and you're able to
We put in
Music.
sound system, throughout. We both learned how Google Chrome works and Chrome.
Yep.
And he had a nice party.
He did. I know. We didn't get an invitation.
We didn't get an invitation.
No,
Yeah.
I'm still
What was up with
disappointed.
that?
Huh, I don't know. Maybe he'll see this video and invite you next year.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, I think that is a great illustration. I do have to ask, in his case, had he ever heard of a screen like that? I mean, was this a new idea for him?
It was a new idea, yeah.
Yeah.
They came to us with the desire to do this, and they
Have a
showed
party.
us how bad the existing deck looked, and at that point, I don't even think he had a budget. He just said, "What do we need to do? How can we create this?" And it's nice when we don't have a budget. Just about every one of our customers has a budget, and I think that's where our experience comes into play. As we design, budget is always in the back of our mind. And when we do get a project that budget is out the window, that's great too. But
Yeah, well,
it doesn't happen very often.
like you said, most of our customers do have a budget. Talking about Sam and Terry here in Kensington, they're repeat customers. They had a budget and we weren't able to do all of their projects at once. The wife really wanted to redo a bathroom, so we started with her bathroom. We did a bathroom just for her. It has all the fancy shower pieces, separate handhelds, controls, and she loved it. And later, when they were ready and had an additional budget, we went and did a bathroom just for him, and he picked everything out and has a much more masculine feel, and he wanted less going on, so it's just a single shower and all very streamlined, and both extremely happy, and projects were right on budget. So it worked out well.
So that's when the whole team gets together
Yeah,
and
we
give
did
a high
their-
five, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Anything else you'd like to share?
I can't think of anything.
Well, both customers really enjoyed having access to Chief Architect Viewer, didn't they? You're able to share everything digitally.
Yeah, I complain about technology, but I also embrace technology and love it, especially the software that we use. When I went to school and learned architecture, we did it with pencil and paper and ink.
Right.
And,
I know they made us do that too, but
and
not
now
more computer.
it's all in computer. And I remember as I was a young draftsman thinking, boy, someday computers are going to be great and I won't have to redraw this. I can just click and something will be done. So from the very moment that CAD software became available to this industry, I've embraced it. And today we can do a screen share session with our clients and really get down to business right away, show them what things are going to look like with a full 3D visualization. They can say, well, I like that, but if that was over here, if that cabinet opened this way, and I can make those changes right there in front of them. And it just is so much easier to help clients visualize their projects.
And they're able to take it home. I mean, we don't just have to print the plans out. They can download Chief Viewer. We can send them the 3D files and they can look at it at home on their own time and debate amongst themselves, come back to us with separate ideas, and we send the files right back. We also use Builder Trend, which is an online portal. People can store all their files, check up on their schedule. Their selections are all made and stored there in one place. They can see the different options. So we really have embraced technology, just not with design, but also with managing our projects.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'd also like to put in a plug for NARI. When
Yes.
I started this business, I had no idea what I was doing. As I said, somebody offered me a job and I became a remodeling contractor. I actually got the yellow pages out. Remember, you don't even know what yellow pages are.
I remember the yellow pages.
And I looked up National Association, and finally saw Remodeling Industry. If I had not joined NARI 28 years ago, I don't think I would be here today, but it's given me the opportunity to meet other remodelers, help develop the professionalism of our industry, help grow, design, build. And I just think it's a great organization.
It is,
Super.
yes. We both are very involved and enjoy working with NARI.
We've got a delivery coming.
This is an active shop where we always have people coming and going.
Work has to go on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking the time, and look forward to seeing you at the next NARI meeting.
Thank
Okay,
you, yes.
Thank you.